Hello, y'all. Welcome. Today we're going to be reviewing Love is Blind Denver, Season 9, Episode 13. It's the last episode, the season finale. We won't waste too much time. We'll just jump right into it, okay? Okay, so the episode started with them. They had a musician there, a singer. He was singing while the contestants were all, and I say contestants, the people on the show, right? They were all walking down to like be seated on the couch. This was very different. Okay, this is not how they usually do it. So I was just a little bit surprised. I like the singer; their voice sounded good. I didn't really catch their name. They did say it at the beginning, but I didn't really catch it. And I was like, maybe I should go back and look, but I didn't have time. By the time I was done with everything, but they sounded really good. I noticed they had a live audience, and I don't think they usually, I've never really seen a live audience for this Love is Blind. Like, I've watched other Love is Blind, like from other countries, and they do have live audiences, but the US version, I've never seen a live audience, so I think this is the first time for them. But it was very different. You know, they were introducing all the people, and they were walking down like, you know, like they were, I don't know, musicians or something. Like they were doing like a star entrance, which was nice. I mean, it's different, so whatever. And so Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey, they're the hosts of the reunion. So they started, you know, with Megan and Jordan. They started asking, you know, them questions. And of course, Jordan said that he didn't regret introducing Megan to his son, because he did say at that last episode that he did say he was like, that's the one thing he regret. And so I guess he cleared it up by saying, you know, he didn't regret introducing Megan to his son. He regret introducing her like as his fiance, you know, like a person that was going to be there for a while versus just, you know, just because he thought she was a great person, he says. It's just, so he cleared that up a little bit, which I can understand that. And of course, Megan, she said she has a child now. So she has a baby, and they showed the baby, and it's a really cute baby. And I'm not sure, it didn't really say if she was married or not to the guy. It just said she's with him. Like they've been together for, I guess, a few months now, since the baby, since they had time to have a baby. They've been together for that long, right? Because they said, like, she said 3 months into it, she got pregnant. So that's a whole year. So I guess they've been together for a year, right? And then 3 months into it, she had the baby, and the baby come out 9 months later. Yeah. Just doing some math. So they've been together for a year. And of course, you know, she didn't, you know, in that last episode, she had mentioned maybe she didn't feel like she'd be that great of a mom. But, you know, Jordan said he thought she would be a great mom, and she felt more confident now, now that she has her child in, you know, in being a mom and in her momhood, so to speak. So they had that moment. And next they brought out Casey, Patrick, and Kate. And Casey was talking about how she wanted to protect Patrick. That's why she behaved the way she did. And everyone on the couch was like, nah, we don't believe you. Wish nobody believes that. So weird. And, you know, I think on one of the episodes, somebody had mentioned about this ring, right? And I was like, when he asked for the ring, I was like, I thought it was, you know, I thought Netflix provided the ring, but then after that, I was like, well, maybe they bought the ring, and I didn't realize that. Well, now I guess it got cleared up, because Madison was like, well, Netflix, you know, she had mentioned as they were having this conversation, like the ring is provided by Netflix, you know, so what's the big deal with giving it back or whatnot? So I guess Netflix provided the ring, y'all. Which is nice, you know. I guess that's a perk of getting on the show, that you get like a ring paid for, you know, $1,000 ring or something like that paid for. And so Patrick was telling Casey that this was her opportunity to apologize to him. It was a really weird, they're strange anyway. So they had this really weird interaction between them. It seems like whenever they have an interaction on camera, it's just really strange. So they had this other interaction where they talked about the ring, and they call it ring gate at this point. And it really is. It's like, oh my gosh, like what is going on with this ring? She told him she had no problem giving the ring back. And she did. She apologized, and she did, because she was like, I want to apologize on my own term. I'm not going to tell you, let you tell me how to apologize, which I get as well. But yeah, he did deserve an apology. But I don't know, the whole thing with them is strange, right? And they had, like, I guess in the pods, Patrick and Casey, I guess, had a competition with basketball. So they had a basketball player there, Chris Paul. He came, and I guess he did like a whole little segment with them, shooting hoops and whatnot. So I guess Casey was playing Patrick for the ring again. And I'm just like, this ring again? Like, and so Casey played Patrick for the ring, and then I guess she won the basketball challenge, I guess, shooting hoops. So then he got the ring from, he got the ring. She ended up getting the ring, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I was just like, I hope this ring situation is over. We hear no more of this on social media about this dang ring. And I guess he's allowing her to keep the ring. Oh, Lord. Okay. And then they started asking Casey some questions about who she was dating, or I guess who she dated. And I guess Casey said she went on some date with Joe. And that moment they like panned to Madison, and Madison had like the biggest eye roll. She was like, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I guess there was drama there, because Madison felt like Casey had something to do with their initial breakup, which I saw, from what they showed on camera, I don't think Casey had anything to do with their breakup. They just weren't compatible, but Casey said, Madison says she knows her truth or whatnot. Like, she knows her perspective, and her perspective, she knows the truth between somebody else's perspective. So, but from what we saw, I don't see that being the reason for their breakup. He may have had an attraction to her, but I felt like he would have had an attraction to anyone that did not look like Madison, because he didn't have that strong of attraction to Madison in the beginning. That's what I think, okay? But I think they had a connection, but that attraction wasn't strong enough to build that connection. That's just how I felt about it. But Madison is entitled to her opinion, and she is entitled to her feelings. So even though I do believe Casey is a piece of work, that girl is something else. I don't think she really had anything to do with their breakup. It is what it is. But Joe is he's talking about how he had an on and off girl, and some girl that he was dating, he was on and off. So he was with Casey, then he went back and I guess reconciled a little bit, or she made out, I guess, with Madison, which confused her. And it was I was like, Joe is just all over the place. Why are they even bothering with him at this point? But I guess he has a girlfriend now. So hopefully that's the end of that. But for some reason, I don't feel like it's the end of it. I feel like there's going to be more drama with this Joe, Madison, and this new girl that he's dating, and Casey. I feel like it's going to be a whole Friends situation, and it's going to play out on the internet. Like, that's just how I feel, okay? Because it was just weird how everything was being explained. And then Nick, he apologized to Kate. And Kate, she said she didn't feel his apology was genuine. She felt like it was calculated, and it probably was. Annie said she didn't feel like Nick love bombed her at all, and she does not regret choosing him. And I'm sitting here like, of course you don't, Annie. You're still being a pick-me even there on stage, and I'm not saying, that sounded mean. I'm not trying to be mean, but you're still, but you saw how she was begging him. Y'all saw that. She was begging him to love her. And I'm like, even now in this moment, it's like, girl, like, what are you talking about? I don't know. She's probably still hoping he will choose her in the end, because I've never seen a woman beg a man like that in real life to love them. Like, I've never seen that in real life, but she did it. Well, I still haven't seen it in real life because it's still on TV, but whatever. I've never seen, even on reality TV, I haven't seen that. But hopefully, she leave that situation alone, I noticed they didn't ask him, Nick, about his love situation. I wonder what his love situation is about. I'm curious now, a year later. Okay. And then they moved on to Anton and Allie. Allie said, Anton said that he felt that bathroom situation with his best friend and his best friend girlfriend when Allie went to the bathroom and the girlfriend was telling him about how he likes to go to strip clubs and he's a party boy and all this stuff. And he said he felt like that was some nasty work that she did, because he was like, yeah, I'm a man and I like to go to strip club, but it's not even like that, because he's like, I barely met this girl. Like, I've met her like twice. And I'm like, but shoot, pillow talk, your boy talks, okay? Your boy probably said some stuff to her that make her think, maybe you're a playboy. So, other than your best friend, he's probably telling his girlfriend stuff. And, women, when we think of men going to strip club, we, we're just like it. So I get it. But then again, I'm just like, who knows? But there's some red flags there because of how you feel from what Allie said about how y'all feel about relationships and how y'all feel about morals and all that stuff, where it just grosses her out that you go to a strip. And it's like that. Some women just feel grossed out when, men go to strip club and some don't and they're not bothered. But she is. So you got to respect that. Allie told Anton that he isn't the same person from the pod, she was like, he seemed extroverted and he would talk to her. But she was like, when he gets home, it's like he doesn't talk to her, when he gets home from work, they're not really talking. And I was like, you know what, this situation, like what she was describing sounds like Megan's situation with Jordan. How he's so extroverted. And I see that Jordan, he puts on for the camera. Like I watch him, like he puts on, like, I don't know if he feels like he has to do something. Like when the camera comes on, he's a funny guy and he's all this stuff. And, he's, and that may be him. I'm not saying it's not him, but he put on a little bit for the camera. I see that he becomes like a little ham when the camera turns to him and he starts saying these jokes and stuff like that. But I did notice in moments when they were together, sometimes he would just kind of shut down a little bit. Even the camera shows him like where he would just kind of shut down a little bit and she's trying to get things out of him. And she's like that conversation starter and he's not that funny guy. And I don't mean to talk about Jordan, but I'm just saying, I just see the similarities of what Allie was describing with Anton about how him and the pods is somebody different from outside the pods. It's like they become this extroverted person around everybody else, but at home they're introverted and they don't want to talk to you. And, sometimes people don't want that. She may not have minded an introvert, but that's not what she wanted, even though she don't mind it, that's not what she wanted. She wanted someone who she can talk to and laugh with at home and have fun with at home. It's not going to be laugh all the time and but she wants that. So I get it. And Anton, they asked about relationships. Anton says he's been in a relationship for about a year. And they showed the girl. I didn't really see her because I had stepped away for a little bit and I didn't feel like rewinding. I was just listening at this point. But I'm sure she must be a pretty girl. I have to look again. Maybe I'll see her online or something. But I didn't feel like watching the episode over again to look for her, scrolling back because I had to go do something. So he's been in a relationship for a year, and Allie said that she would just, when they asked Allie, she said she wants to keep her relationship personal. She don't want to share who she's, and I get it. Like, I get it. But people are going to find out. When you say stuff like that, you make people dig. You make people dig and dig up stuff that they don't need to find. I'm just telling you. Okay, especially now that you're in like the public eye for a little bit, there people get bored with you maybe after about another 6 months or so. But for now, you're still kind of like in the public eye. So now when you say that, people are going to be like, oh, so she is dating somebody. So, these bloggers, these people, they're going to dig to find out. And the only thing I can think of is she's dating somebody in the limelight and she's trying to respect their privacy as well. So she's just like, I'm not going to say anything right now that's the only thing I can think of for her not, because it was just a regular old dude. I feel like she would have been like, yeah, I am dating somebody and it's going good right now. And that's it. Nobody would care, because they probably think he's another male nurse or something like that. So, or another, whatever. Somebody she works with, or nobody would dig. But now you said that I'd like to keep my personal pride. Like, oh, now they're gonna go dig on you, girl. Just letting you know. But I respect it, I understand, but just saying. Then last but not least, they ended with KB and Edmund, and KB said she felt that Edmund crying was manipulation. and that he was very dismissive off camera, and she had mentioned that. And I think so too. I think so too. Again, with the autism thing, I still think that is him too. I do believe he's on the spectrum still, but I feel like he does things like he is childlike. So yes, I feel like he does use his crying as a manipulation tactic from the things that she has described. And he doesn't seem to, even while she was explaining to him, he wasn't seem to understand. Like Vanessa had to even step in and be like, but Edmund, do you see she's trying to tell you her feelings too? It's almost like he was basically saying, but yeah, my feelings. And I'm like, bro, like calm down. Like, he's like, you never say nothing. I think he was trying to go back into that thing. Like, you never say nothing nice. And I'm just like, I don't know. But she was like, no matter what people say, she actually did have a genuine connection with him. Because she was like, people got to think, like, she don't know him from, and she's right. A lot of people be like, that can't be real. She didn't know. It's somebody behind a wall. She just connected with that person. So you can't see the person's expression. You can't see the stuff that they're doing behind that wall. So she was like, I genuinely did fall for him, So maybe you can judge her actions after the wall, but after the wall, she's just trying to figure out, who is this person now? Like, I fell in love with this person. Now who did I actually fall in love with? So she's trying to take her time to learn him, to figure it out, and to put 2 and 2 together. And 2 and 2 was just not coming together for her. It was just not equaling 4, I guess. She was just like, it's not adding up, So Edmund said that he wasn't trying to manipulate anyone. He kept saying that he don't remember anything she was saying. And I'm like, sir, yes, you do. You do. You do. Anything she was saying. And then, I guess finally she was like, again, this woman is super emotionally intelligent, okay? But she spoke to him. She said, well, I'll tell you, give her final thoughts on, closure to this. So she gave her final closure to him, telling him, she did love him. She did care about him. She apologized for the way she spoke to him at times, and he shouldn't allow anyone to speak to him like that, because that was not, the way anyone who loves somebody should speak to them. And she was like, I will try to be more, what did she say? She would try to be more kind or whatnot, like with him, because he had said one day that he didn't feel she was kind, and she said she'd made that effort to be more kind. And like, so she told him that he's a great person, and he told her the same thing. He responded that he told her that he wouldn't have never gotten a woman like her if it wasn't for that experiment. Yeah, dang Skippy, that's for sure. He knew it too. I was like, that's true, Edmund. You would never have gotten a woman like her. And then of course they had Blake. He came in the end and wished Jordan, I guess it was Jordan's birthday, so he came in and wished Jordan a happy birthday. So that's basically it. It wasn't like super eventful, but it wasn't super uneventful either. It was just a reunion to see where they're at now. Yeah, it would have been nice to see maybe what was going on with Blake, and if something went on with Blake and Anna, or if Patrick caught up with Anna as well, so that would have been interesting to see. But yeah, so that's it, y'all. That's my thoughts on this, my response, whatever you want to call it. That's what I think. My recap, my review. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time on the next reviews.